For thou art my hope, O Lord God, Jah the Almighty, and it's the last so far the strength of the Redeemer. Thou art my trust from my youth. Well, who is like unto thee, Lord? I listen and see. Who is like unto thee? Who make the sun shines and the rain that falls in due season? Who makes the moon and the stars, which each one they say represents a human? By thee have I been holden up from the womb. Thou art he that took me out of my mother's bowels. My praise shall be continually of thee. I am as a wonder unto many, but thou art my strong refuge. Let my mouth be filled with thy praise and thy honor all the day. All the day, all the day, all the day. Who is like unto thee, I Selassie? Who is like unto thee? Who is like unto thee, I Selassie? Who is like unto I shall incline mine ear to thy calling. From thy truth I shall not refrain, 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 refrain. Who is like unto thee, I Selassie? Who is like unto thee? Who is like unto thee, I Selassie? Who is like unto thee? Cast me not off in the time of old age. Forsake me not when my strength faileth. For mine enemies speak against me, and they that lay wait for my soul take counsel together, saying, God hath forsaken him. Persecute and take him, for there's none to deliver him. But I say, Jah is thy light and thy salvation, and so I fear no one. Jah, Father of creation, O God, Rastafari, listen, last your Father, strength and redeemer, be not far from me. O my God, make haste for my help. Let them be confounded and consumed that are adversaries to my soul. Let them be covered with reproach and dishonor that seek my hurt. Who is like unto thee? Who is like unto thee? I Selassie. Who is like unto thee?
Why do the heathens rage and their people imagine vain things? The kings and rulers of the earth set themselves together and take counsel against Rastafari and Integuamenen and their children, saying, Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. El Shaddai shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak to them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure. For their technologies are misleading the people. Their minds are drained of love. Their bad minds fight I and I daily, but their will shall not be done. They shall never conquer I and I. They are filled with envy and greed. Their eyes are like ice. I and I's success are a problem to them. It is no secret that they're envious. I and I see it in their eyes and their works. They do not want I and I to rise. El Shaddai shall break them in pieces like a potter's vessel, and I shall be as the tree planted by the rivers of water that bring forth her fruit in her season. I leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever I do shall prosper. For the wicked are not so. They are like the chaff which the wind blows away. Therefore the wicked shall not stand in the congregation of the righteous. I shall never entertain evil, for I delight is in creation. Guide and protect I, Almighty El Shaddai, Rastafari, and Earth Mother, Selah.
Oh, Jahil, such a war cry. Yeah. Bless me, mighty Jaja, bless me, so that they can curse me. Bless me, mighty Jaja, bless me. Oh yes, Rasta, bless me, mighty Jaja, bless me, so that they can curse me. Bless me, mighty Jaja, bless me. I'm in the midst of strangers without love and mercy, strangers without dignity, strangers who don't want to live in harmony. Bless me, mighty Jaja, bless me, so that they can curse me. Bless me, mighty Jaja, bless me. Oh yes, Rasta, bless me, mighty Jaja, bless me, so that they can curse me. Bless me, mighty Jaja, bless me. Father, they have dug their pit and are waiting to see me fall in it. Yes, they've got great power, so without your help, I know I'll suffer. Hear me while I call on you and help me to conquer. Only you I fear. Be with me everywhere. They're trying to see me fall, but with you, Jah, I stand tall. Stand tall, yeah. Oh, Jah, bless me, mighty Jah, bless me, so that they can curse me. Bless me, mighty Jah, bless me. Oh yes, Rasta, bless me, mighty Jah, bless me, so that they can curse me. Bless me, mighty Jah, bless me. Yeah, bless me.
Rastafari is I shepherd, I shall not want. He makes I to walk in green pastures. He leads I beside the still waters. He restores I soul. He leads I in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. For El Shaddai and Integwe Menen are with I. The eye rod, the golden sceptre, and the eye staff, they comfort I. The eye, O Rastafari and Integwe Menen, prepare a table before I, in the presence of I enemies. The eye anoint I head with oil, I cup run over. Surely goodness and Saint Mariam's mercy shall follow I all the days of I life. And I shall dwell in the house of Rastafari and in Integwe Menen forever and ever. I shall rejoice in the I holy name. Selah.
Oh Father, watch in Zion. Hear our voice, O Jah, today in our prayer, and accept our thanksgiving. Father, we thank thee for all that you have done and for what you're doing now. Oh, yeah. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He restoreth my soul. Splashing, dashing, restless sea. Never still you seem to be. Sometimes angry, sometimes sad. Sometimes a lover though you're glad. Splashing, dashing, restless sea. Never still you seem to be. Sometimes angry, sometimes sad. Sometimes you love as though you're glad. Little children love you well. Love all the wondrous tales you tell. Love to watch you come and go in the tides that heaven blow. Yet though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, 'cause Jah is with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Splashing, dashing, restless sea. Never still you seem to be. Sometimes angry, sometimes sad. Sometimes you laugh as though you're glad. Splashing, dashing, restless sea. Never still you seem to be. Sometimes angry, sometimes sad. Sometimes you laugh as though you're glad. Little children love you well. Love all the wondrous tales you tell. Love to watch you come and go in the tides that heaven blow. Though so strong and great you are, love, 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 stretching deep, wide and far. Yeah. Tiny vessels safe you keep, rocking them gently as to sleep. Wild and rough though you may be, when you are angry, mighty sea. When the storm is gone, we find you're still a playmate kind. Splashing, dashing, restless sea. Never still you seem to be. Sometimes angry, sometimes sad. Sometimes you laugh as though you're glad. Splashing, dashing, restless sea. Never still you seem to be. Sometimes angry, sometimes sad. Sometimes you laugh as though you're glad. Little children love you well. Love all the wondrous tales you tell. Love to watch you come and go in the tides that heaven flow. Splashing, you dashing, you restless sea. Never still you seem to be. Sometimes angry, sometimes sad. Sometimes you laugh as though you're glad. Oh well now, splashing, dashing, restless sea. Never still you seem to be. Sometimes angry, sometimes sad. Sometimes you laugh as though you're glad.
I not always work for tomorrow, but when tomorrow comes, instead of full joy in it, there are thoughts of a better tomorrow. Let I and I full joy the rising in a new day. A better day is here. With praise and honour do I and I give thanks to the Almighty Rastafari and Earth Mother. As I and I greet this new day, may each moment be touched with the brightness of Rastafari's glory, the goodness of his love, and his presence of hope, with the beauty and peace of Empress Menen. Let I and I do the best of I and I ability in all situations. For when I and I kneel and pray, Haile Selassie first and Integwe Menen stand up for I and I. Therefore, no one who stands against I and I shall ever triumph over I and I. He makes a way for I and I where there seems to be no way. May all the stress be washed away, and let peace, love and happiness surround I and I today. El Shaddai make the rough road smooth. Happiness when shared returns to I and I. That is the mystery of happiness. When shared, it grows and returns. Therefore, I and I shall walk on the highway of greatness and be thankful for the nights that turned into the dawning of a new day, with friends that turned into family and dreams that turned into reality. I and I shall walk in faith with guidance and protection, knowing that the gift of life is from Rastafari and Earth Mother. Shine like the sun and the moon in this new day, so I and I days be many and free from troubles, with showers of Rastafari and Earth Mother's love, making I and I hearts stronger. The best time of the day is when I give reverence to Rastafari, Integwe Menen, Saint Mariam and Earth Mother, as I are speaking to the ones that love I the most. Sila.
Exalt his name. You've got nothing to lose, nothing to lose. Remember when the food was Russian, not knowing where the first meal was coming from. People treated you as if you had no sense. The words of the Father were your defense, and now you're living in your mansion. You forget the past, Mr. Big Man, but you should rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Be thankful to Jah, he remains. Rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Be thankful to Jah, he remains. Once you couldn't find what to wear, want to make a move, not even was fair. When friends would act as if they didn't know you, even your family, they forsake you. Well, it was Jah who carried you through. Yes, it's true. How could you forget the Most High? How could you? Rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Be thankful to Jah, he remains. Rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Be thankful to Jah, he remains. Don't eat and wipe your beak on the ground. No, if you're ungrateful, you must go down. You must go down. Just do the will of Jah and you will wear a crown. A clean heart is better than dollars and pounds. Oh Lord, rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Be thankful to Jah, he remains. Rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Be thankful to Jah, he remains. Lord, exalt his name. Rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Be thankful to Jah, he remains. Rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Be thankful to Jah, he remains. Rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Be thankful to Jah, he remains. Rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Rejoice in his name, your life has changed.
Be thankful to Jah, he remains.
I shall lift up I hands unto the hills, from whence come I help. I help come from Rastafari, maker of the heaven and the earth, and Integwe Menen, mother of peace. He shall not suffer I foot to slip, for he that keep and watches over I shall not slumber or sleep. Haile Selassie first is I keeper and defender of the faith. He is the shade over I right hand. The sun shall not harm I by day, nor the moon by night. The sun shall energize I by day, and the moon shall heal and bring peace to I by night. Rastafari and Integwe Menen shield I from all harm. He shall watch over I life. El Shaddai shall protect I from all evil. He shall preserve I soul. El Shaddai and Earth Mother shall guide and protect I and I going out and coming in from this time forth and forevermore. Selah, give I and I strength, Almighty Rastafari, Integre Menen and Earth Mother. Selah.
Now let's give thanks and praise unto the Most High. Jah Rastafari, King of all kings, rule all things. And lift up my hands unto the hills, from whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Jah, who has made Zion and the earth. Oh gosh, give I strength, mighty Jah, Jah, give I strength to carry on. Give I strength, mighty Jah, Jah, give I strength, and no harder. Children are working harder, day and night, striving to survive. Striving to survive. Listen, lots of things to take care of. You know the going is rough, oh Lord, and the food's not enough. Lord, Mikey, gotta fill a little gap. That's why I say, give I strength, mighty Jah, Jah, give I strength to carry on. Give I strength, mighty Jah, Jah, give I strength to carry on. Hear my voice, oh God, in my prayer. Hear my voice, preserve my life from fear of the enemies. Oh Lord, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of workers of iniquity. Oh, give I strength, mighty Jah, Jah, give I strength to carry on. Give I strength, oh God, yeah, yeah. Give I strength, our Father who art in Zion. Hear us while we call on you. Without you, you know, we are nothing. Oh Lord, you are our refuge. Yes, you are our King. Oh, give I strength, mighty Jah, Jah, give I strength to carry on. Give I strength, mighty Jah, Jah, give I strength to carry on. Give I strength, give I strength. Just on my life, just on my life, just on me keep reading, and I go mix up with the rhythm, cause I'm not to make me sing the rhythm in some way. Oh, give I strength, oh gosh, give I strength, give I strength, give I strength, give I strength. And lift up my hands unto the hills, from whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Jah, who has made Zion and the earth. Oh gosh, give I strength, mighty Jah, Jah, give I strength to carry on. Give I strength, mighty Jah, Jah, give I strength. Give I strength.
I and I that dwell in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I and I shall say of Haile Selassie first and Integre Menen, that I are I and I refuge and fortress, I and I holy Father and Mother of creation, in the I do I and I trust. El Shaddai shall deliver I and I from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover I and I with his love, and in his name shall I and I trust. His truth shall be I and I shield. I and I shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor for the arrow that fly by day, nor for the pestilence that walk in darkness, nor for the destruction that waste at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at I and I's side, and 10,000 at I and I right hand, but it shall not come near I and I. Only with I and I eyes shall I behold and see the reward of the wicked, because Rastafari is I refuge. He is the Most High, I habitation. Therefore, no evil shall befall I, neither shall any plague come near I dwellings. For he shall give his angels charge over I, to keep I in all his ways. They shall bear I up in their hands, so I foot is not dashed against the stone. I shall trod upon the adder, and the dragon shall I trample underfoot. Because Rastafari and Integwe Menin has set their love upon I, therefore I shall dwell with them. I shall honour, love and respect the I, O Holy Father and Mother of the universe, who knows I name. He shall call upon I, and I shall answer him. I shall be with him in times of trouble and times of joy, and I shall honour him. Rastafari and Integwe Menin are I salvation. I shall not fear. Sila. Sending these psalms out to Mama Alma. Mama Alma, I know this is the I favourite psalms. One perfect love. Sila.
Let us be those stifled. Touch not the Lord's anointed, or you be trampled. Rough as a lion, harmless as a dove. I'm warning you, I'll murder you with my love. Only with my love. Only with my love. Hey, don't you stop it now. How can we stop this one? If you should just then you know you are wrong. Hey, girl, don't you stop it now. How can we stop this one? If you should just then you know you are wrong. I won't rest till righteousness is being digested. I'm gonna keep firing my gun from the abundance of the article drum. I'll murder you with my love. Only with my love. Hey, girl, don't you stop it now. How can we stop this one? If you should just then you know you are wrong. Hey, girl, don't you stop it now. How can we stop this one? If you should just then you know you are wrong. Please never see the good that you're doing. Erase the doubt and hatred which makes you only believe. Cause you should know righteousness is everlasting. Righteousness is everlasting, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, don't you stop it now. How can we stop this one? If you should just then you know you are wrong. Hey, don't you stop it now. How can we stop this one? If you should just then you know you are wrong. Let us be unstifled. Touching not the Lord's anointed, or you'll be trampled. Rough as a lion, harmless as a dove. I'm warning you, I'll murder you with my love. Only with my love. Only with my love.
just then we know you around. Day by day, let us be those blind blood. Touch not the Lord's anointed, on you be trampled. Whoa, 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 naughty, naughty, naughty. Red, naughty, naughty, naughty. Red, naughty, naughty, naughty. Red, naughty, naughty, whoa, whoa. Naughty, 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 no. Hey, just stop it now. How can you stop this fun? If you should just then you know you go wrong. Hey.
Give thanks for listening, family, and here I and I seal up Psalms and Songs. Now taking I and I into Psalms and Songs work. Psalms 31 with Who is Like Unto Thee song, Garnet Silk. Psalms 2 with Bless Me song, Garnet Silk. Psalms 23 with Rastafari's I and I Shepherd's song, Garnet Silk, from his album Good Morning. Gratitude utterance from Sir Deeds with Rejoice in His Name song, Garnet Silk. Psalms 121 with Give I Strength song, Garnet Silk. Psalms 91 with Red Natty Dread song, Garnet Silk. And sealing up Psalms and Song is Mystic Chant Garnet Silk featuring Bob Marley. Sending out love to Ras Romeo and Sister Sharon, reggae people, Ras Dragon, and giving thanks to Sir Dees for the I Gratitude Psalms. Ireful greetings, Ronnie Duck. One love, family. Now here is Natural Mystic, Garnet Silk featuring Bob Marley, sealing up Psalms and Songs.
IYATA, Jadata from Ethiopian border, I come.
Be still, all ye enemies of Jah, and know that the Lord God Jah the Almighty shall wound the head of his enemies. Jah, Rastafari, Haile Selassie the First. Oh, let God arise, let his enemies be scattered. Let them also that hate him be flee before him. As smoke is driven away, so drive them away. As wax melteth before the fire, so let the wicked perish at the presence of God. But let the righteous be glad. Let them rejoice before God, yea, let them exceedingly rejoice. Sing unto God, sing praises to his name, extol him that rideth on the heavens by his name. Jah, Rastafari, Haile Selassie the First, our Father, strength and Redeemer, who lives and rules and reigns over all living things. The Father of the fatherless and the Judge of the widows is God in his holy habitation. God setteth the solitary in families. He bringeth out those which are bound with chains, but the rebellious dwell in dry land. O God, Jah Rastafari, Haile Selassie, O Father, strength and Redeemer, when thou wentest forth before thy people, when thou did march through the wilderness, Selah, the earth shook, the heavens also dropped at the presence of God. But even Sinai itself was moved at the presence of God, Jah Rastafari, Haile Selassie First, the God of Israel. Though, O God, Jah Rastafari, Haile Selassie, O Father, strength and Redeemer, did send a plentiful rain, whereby thou did confirm thine inheritance when it was weary. Thy congregation hath dwelt therein. Thou, O God, Jah Rastafari, Haile Selassie, O Father, strength and Redeemer, hast prepared of thy goodness for the poor. The Lord God, Jah the Almighty, Haile Selassie, O Father, strength and Redeemer, gave the word. Great was the company of those that published it. Kings of armies did flee apace, and she that tarried at home divided the spoil. Though ye have lain among the pots, yet shall ye be as the wings of a dove covered with silver, and her feathers with yellow gold. When the Almighty God, Jah Rastafari, Haile Selassie, O Father, strength and Redeemer, scattered kings in it, it was white as snow in Salmon. The hill of God, Jah Rastafari, Haile Selassie, O Father, strength and Redeemer, is as the hill of Bashan, and high hill as the hill of Bashan. Why leave ye high hills? This is the hill which God, Jah Rastafari, Haile Selassie the First, desireth to dwell in. Yea, the Lord God, Jah the Almighty, Haile Selassie, O Father, strength and Redeemer, will dwell in it forever. The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord God, Jah the Almighty, Jah the Selassie, our Father, strength and Redeemer, is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. Thou hast ascended on high. Thou hast led captivity captive. Thou hast received gifts from man, yea, for the rebellious also, that the Lord God, Jah the Almighty, Jah the Selassie, our Father, strength and Redeemer, might dwell among them. Blessed be the Almighty God, Jah Rastafari, Selassie, our Father, strength and Redeemer, who daily leadeth us with benefits, even the God of our salvation, Selah. He that is our God is the God of salvation, and unto God, Jah Rastafari, Selassie, our Father, strength and Redeemer, the Lord belongeth the issues from death. But the Lord God, Jah the Almighty, Jah Selassie, our Father, strength and Redeemer, shall wound the head of his enemies, and hear his scalp of such an one as goeth until
There's a natural mystic flowing through the air. If you listen carefully now, you will hear. This could be the first trumpet, might as well be the last. Many more will have to suffer, many more will have to die. Don't ask me why. Things are not the way they used to be. I won't tell no lie. One and all got to face reality now. Though I try to find the answer to all the questions they ask, though I know it's impossible to go living through the past. Don't tell no lie. There's a natural mystic blowing through the air. Can't keep him down. If you listen carefully now, you will hear. That's a natural mystic blowing through the air. This could be the first trumpet, might as well be the last. Many more will have to suffer, many more will have to die. Don't ask me why. There's a natural mystic blowing through the air. I won't tell no lie. If you listen carefully, now you will hear. There's a natural mystic blowing through the air. Such a natural mystic blowing through the air. There's a natural mystic blowing through the air. Such a natural mystic blowing through the air. Such a natural mystic blowing through the air.
SISTA IYATA, she and the daughter, we're hunting Rastafari order.
Give thanks for the I Ears family. Always a joy to be in the I Present. Now it's time for Majesty's speech. Haile Selassie first speaks on development. I continued from the last strong, and I quote, "Civilization can serve for both good as well as evil purposes. Experience shows that it has invariably brought great dividends to those who use it for good purposes, while it has brought incalculable harm and damnation to those who use it for evil purposes. Be it understood that while we are justly proud of our national heritage, We do not look backwards to find our national purposes, but forward to the full realization of our national goals. It is the duty of all people to make maximum use of their gifts, ingenuities, capacities and resources which has been placed at their disposal. Ingenuities, which means clever, original and inventive. Gifts, capacities and resources are not ours to do what we will. They are given to us in trust that we may follow the example of development. Apply them for the highest benefit of ourselves and to the posterity. Each one of us has a sacred duty to do this and to prove ourselves worthy of the confidence reposed on us. Those who have preceded us have set a high example. Take up where they have left off. Emulate them. Build on the foundation which they have laid down, that your nation may advance in progress and enlightenment. It is only when man becomes master of his fate, able to determine his destiny, that he can be free from the fears of inferiority. Such an individual or nation stands respected by all. If we ponder deeply on our situations today, we find that the resources are available. The nation's youths are gaining knowledge and acquiring experience. It is necessary that we resolve to work with determination and diligence. Of all the good things of the world which are accomplished by the wisdom of man, and which can only be realized by that wisdom, health is the divine gift which is to be found above all those who can take care to guard it well. If health fails, teaching, knowledge and life itself comes to naught. The forest, the mountains and the plains constitute to wealth. Africa's human and material resources are beyond measure, and this great continent now stands on the verge of an economic, political and cultural development which, when realized, will be without parallel in history. Unquote. And there ends Majesty's speech on development. And sealing up Majesty's speech is Garnet Silk with Every Knee Shall Bow, sending this one out to all family in tune to slrradio.co.uk. Always a joy to be in the I presence. One love family, Garnet Silk, Every Knee Shall Bow, saluting the I and this strong article brother, Garnet Silk.
If them want to win the revolution, they have to win it with Rasta. You can't win no other way, because if you win other way, you have to fight again. When you Rasta win, there's no more war.
As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The things we dwell upon in our minds with affection or take to our hearts in fear are the things that are finally built into our character. The things we think of with love or fear determine not only our characters, but our circumstances and our environment as well. The uncontrolled thought, the drifting life, the past mistakes, all can be obliterated by forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before, and pressing toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of the Most High in Rastafari.
Lassia lives and rules and reigns over all things.
Glory be to the highest. Glory be to Haile Selassie the first. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Every knee shall bow and every tongue shall tell. Shall easy, yeah, yeah. Every knee shall bow and every tongue shall tell. Shall easy, yeah, yeah. For the thanks for all that you have done and for what you're doing.
Jah is the highest. Shall bow and every tongue shall tell. Jah is the highest. And lift up my eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. I have cometh from Selassie, which created Zion and the earth. Oh yes, every knee shall, every knee shall, every knee shall, every knee shall, yeah. Oh yes now, oh well, yeah. Every knee shall. Oh, thanks for all that you have done and for what you're doing now. I'm not saying I meant not to run again, but I promise this time I'll see a better. Every knee shall, every knee shall, every knee shall, yeah. Oh, yeah. Play this world for the wicked. Play this world for the heathen. Play this world for the righteous most of all. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Play it so that the wicked can hear. I listen like is clear. And so we say, shall bow and every tongue shall take. Jah is the highest. Shall bow and every tongue shall take. Jah is the highest. All the thanks for all that you have done and for what you're doing now. I'm not saying I might not do wrong again, but I promise this time I'll be a better friend. Every knee shall, every knee shall, every
Family, it's now time to salute Saint Mariam, the mother of the Nazarene. Reading from her book, Saint Mariam, the Perpetual Virgin, and her mother Hannah, which was looted from Magdala, Ethiopia by General Napier in 1868, found in the British Library, Museum of Mankind, Windsor Castle, India House, Oxford and Eton University in the Ethiopian collection. St. Mariam of Zion Church is in Aksum, Ethiopia. She's honoured and prayed to by the Orthodox churches worldwide. Seymour MacLean liberated this book from the British Library. He's known as the Book Liberator. Now, I are reading today from her Book of Praises, which is read on a Monday, and I quote, Ayasu Emmanuel Christ the Nazarene, the Word who became incarnate in the I womb, O Saint Mariam, he dwells with I and I. The Holy Father of creation, who became the Son, because of the I, O Saint Mariam, who gave birth to him. His glory is the only begotten Son, the Father and the fire. He who is pleased to show compassion upon I and I, he has appeared. Behold the mystery of Ayasu Emmanuel, and rejoice and be glad, O race of children of man. For Ayasu Christ loved the world, and those who know and believe shall have everlasting life, for I and I spirit shall never die. He who was and shall be forevermore, he who came and shall come again, is Ayasu Christ the Nazarene, the Word who became incarnate without any change. He shall come again and sit upon the throne of his son David. He is a perfect man without division and without separation. In his word, the only begotten Son, but with one form, one being, and one divinity, he has appeared. Rejoice, O Nazareth, Ethiopia, the land of the prophets, for in there was he born, Ayasu Christ the Nazarene. Let all the souls of man rejoice and be glad about the angels and praise Ayasu the King. Cry out and say, Glory to Ayasu in the heavens and peace on earth to all men. He has abolished the things of old and overthrown the plot of the enemy and torn into pieces the bill of indictment, which means a thing that serves to illustrate that a system or a situation is bad and deserves to be condemned. He who was born in the city of Dawit David, Nazareth, Ethiopia, Adonai Ayasu Christ the Redeemer, has done this. He has appeared. He is the light who is in truth, illuminist all people who dwell in the world. Illuminist is to have a special enlightenment or knowledge of something. Because of the I love for the I children of the world, the I, or Ayasu the Nazarene, have come into this world. All creation rejoice in the I, who fasted 40 days and 40 nights in order to deliver I and I. He was born of Saint Mariam. She's the mother of the Most High. Ayasu the Nazarene, Selah, unquote. Sealing up St. Mariam's narrative, here is Garnet Silk with kingly character, Selah.
Look to the east for the coming of a black king. Behold! Behold! Christ in his kingly character. 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 One love, brother man, say Rasta. Who goes, it must be Jaja. Thank goodness I don't have to wonder. I know he is forever. Christ in his kingly character. 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 His foundation is in the holy mountains. Glorious things are spoken of thee, O city of the Almighty. He is the living legend of this Iowa, conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. Christ in his kingly character. 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 Many know the truth and hide it. Many feeling the vibes and try to avoid it. But the truth must be revealed. And oh my God is real. Christ in his kingly character. 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 Behold, 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 the King of all kings. Oh gosh, away my sins you wash. Oh gosh, Christ in his kingly character. 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 One love, brother man, say Rasta. Who goes, it must be Jaja. Thank goodness I don't have to wonder. I know he is forever. Christ in his kingly character. 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 Help me look to the east. Help me see the King coming. Help me see the King coming. Oh, 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 yeah, yeah. Christ in his kingly character. Christ in his kingly character. Christ in his kingly character. Christ in his kingly character.
Ireful greetings, Princess Summer Rain. Hope that I's having a great day with Mama and Papa. Ireful greetings, DJ Cowboy. He seals up the strong end on the night shift on a Sunday, and he's with I and I's Strong Days breakfast show from 8 to 10. One love, guidance and strength in a new strong. Give much thanks. Ireful greetings, Selector G. Hope that I's having a great day. Give thanks and guidance, appreciate love all that I does. Sundays from 2 till 4, a revival specialist never to be missed. Ireful greetings, Sister Rosebud, and ireful greetings to Sister Monica Sinclair. Give thanks, Russ Jr. Give thanks, Kev. Hope that I's having a good day. Princess Nins, full joy that I day and that I good works. Appreciate love all that I does. Every time, my darling, I know that I work so hard. One love. Princess Hannah, guidance in all that I work. I know that I's round the desk working very hard at the moment. Peace be with the I Princess and have a great day. Fireman and drumming, ireful afternoon, full joy that I strong, yeah? Princess B and the Uni family, welcome to the holidays. Even though the I are still studying, full joy that I holidays, well deserved, right? Giving thanks to Sister Lazuli, Sir Dees, Jackie, Sister B, Jaman, Fisherman Bobby, Danny, Cosmic, Little Dread, Princess B. They are the knowledge givers. Respect to the I. Ireful greetings, John and Sister B. He's with I and I, opening the musical gate Sabbath morning from 8 till 10 on a Saturday. Briggy from 1 till 4. Ireful greetings, Micah Ringo, how the tingo. He rides in from 4 till 7. Ballet Eye seals up Sabbath Eve from 7 till 9 with a real vibe selection not to be missed. And sealing up Sabbath night, Ranking D going Truths and Rights, route selection, set and seal up Sabbath. Ireful greetings, Mikey Dread, 6 to 8 on a Tuesday. Sister Chrissy and DJ 1 with I and I every Wednesday. Sister Chrissy 2 to 4, DJ 1 4 to 6. SLR Radio link up with Bless FM family. Rasta Pastor caught the I show on Thursday from 2 till 5. Perfect reasoning. Give thanks. Raggedy and Leon hope that I are well. How are Thriller and Vibes Man and Mango Rambo? One love family. Ireful greetings to all I and I business family. Bellyful, Rastolis, Roachy Shop family, DJ One and Juicy Roots family, Elijah Kitchen, Tottenham Town Bakery, Lloydie and Sister Maureen. Back to Eden, Ras Lloydie, Jamaica Me Hungry Restaurant, Peppers and Spice, Brown Eagle, Tasties, Uptown Cuisine, Electric Grub, CD Bar, VP Records, Swan Family and all caterers, thinkingmoney.co.uk, blackcentral.net, Triple Star, Rockstone Cycle Hub, Flying Squad, Errol McKenna Foundation, Kevin, Robbie the Vegetable Man, have a peaceful and profitable strong. Sending out greetings to Ras Imru Asha, Ras Asha, Mikey and family, Asha C, Isaac Natural House I'm a General, Flip, Mr. and Mrs. Boogaloo, Sister Una, Jason, Annette, Putty, Sister Shirley, Johnny Wonder and Charlie, Charjan, Sister Uimana, Princess, Jayut and Tau, Ronnie Doc, hope all is well. Greetings, Jax, Aldred, Big Sister Marlene, Daddy and Princesses, Dallas, Marie Kimoy and family, Randy, Sister Aldi, Javan and Princess, Robert and Genevieve and the I Princes, Bingy and family, St. Anne's family, one love, Us Baptist, Everton Lambert, the great producer, Teresa and the Great Desert, Clinark, Neville Bassi and Cuz Ori in Canada, Russ Rubin in Bermuda. Have a wonderful, strong one love. Boris Johnson speaks about the microchip.
And there are today people who are still actually anti-science. A whole movement called the anti-vaxxers, who refuse to acknowledge the evidence that vaccinations have eradicated smallpox and who, by their prejudices, are actually endangering the very children they want to protect. And I totally reject this anti-scientific pessimism. I'm profoundly optimistic about the ability of new technology to serve as a liberator and to remake the world wondrously and benignly. Indeed, in countless respects, technology is already doing just that. Nanotechnology, I mentioned earlier, revolutionizing medicine by designing robots a fraction of the size of a red blood cell, capable of swimming through our bodies, dispensing medicine and attacking malignant cells like some Star Wars armada. Neural interface technology is producing a new generation of cochlear implants. I think of new tools that we acquired, but over which we, the human race, had the advantage, which we controlled. And that is not necessarily the case in the digital age. You may keep your secrets from your friends, from your parents, your children, your doctor, even your personal trainer. But it takes real effort to conceal your thoughts from Google. And if that is true today, in future, there may be nowhere to hide. Nowhere to hide. Smart cities will pullulate with sensors, all joined together by the Internet of Things. Bollards communing invisibly with lampposts. But this technology could also be used to keep every citizen under round-the-clock surveillance. A future Alexa will pretend to take orders, but this Alexa will be watching you, clucking her tongue and stamping her foot.
Greetings, Earthlings. Don't let the computers destroy your life. Careful of the games they play with the modern technology. Oh, let me tell you, in this new age, Babylon culture, don't worship technology and bow to computers. Cause the microchip is gone, chip and failure, and bring you straight forward to creation. In this new age, Babylon culture, don't worship technology and bow to computers. Cause the microchip is gone, chip and failure, and bring you straight forward to creation. And now we're slowly depending on the machinery. Man, make the machine and get trapped in the air. Slowly depending on the technology. Caught in the web and can't come out of it. In a 1999, and I did that for and worry. Wonder if the clock did that go stop in the air. Counting down the time, New Year's Eve, 2000 come and gone, and now you think things sweet. Mind you catch a virus on the internet, and be careful of the emails that you collect. I see the whole world gone computer literate, and to the birds and the bees them is illiterate. You've got access to everything on the internet, but experience, teacher, wisdom come from around your desk. Oh, the microchip is gone, chip and failure, and bring you straight forward to creation. Young Junior got a sad story, stayed awake late nights in a text glory. Long letters, long lines, night after night anticipated. Meet a blind date Stacy, full of anxiety and butterflies in belly. He wanted to make a first impression, a real memory. So the morning of the day, that man rise early, got to get to prepared, looking fresh and ready. But when he meet Stacy, him almost go crazy. Couldn't believe what his eyes did that take place. Oh, all the emails, she was a he-mail, and just a disguise online, what a shame, oh child. New age, Babylon culture, don't worship technology and bow to computers. Cause the microchip is gone, chip and a failure, and bring you straight forward to creation. In this new age, Babylon culture, don't worship technology and bow to computers. The microchip is gone, chip and a failure, and bring you straight forward to creation. Slowly depending on the machinery. Man, make the machine and get trapped in the air. Slowly depending on them technology. caught in the web and can't come out of it. No let manual days be a thing of the past. You clock in and you clock out, clockwise and clock cross. Like my brethren where you farm, ask him warm to the grass. Him say you know see everything gone digital, boss. And too much digital may be critical, physical loss. Slowly you're getting lazy and you don't know the half. What a day when your databases them crash and everything come to a stop.
Taurus Riley microchip from his album Parables. Tigray conflict.
The Sudanese army on patrol near the Ethiopian border. It's on the lookout for refugees who might be stranded in the area after escaping the fighting in Ethiopia's northern Tigray region. Brigadier General Babikr is proud of his country's humanitarian role.
For the first 12 days before aid agencies arrived, the people of Gadaref were the first to offer food, blankets, shelter and comfort to the refugees. The Sudanese armed forces organised transportation for thousands of civilians and brought them to Hashaba camps.
The Hashaba, also known as Village 8, hosted 15,000 refugees in the first 2 weeks after the fighting started in Tigray. These homes were borrowed from local Sudanese farmers to host the refugees. Sudanese aid agencies prepared food in the camps. Daf'allah Umar is one of so many Sudanese in the Hashaba village who shared their small homes and modest meals with the refugees.
We look at Ethiopians as part of our family, our neighbors and friends. We have historic ties with them. So when the war broke out, we went out into the streets and open fields looking for those who came here fleeing the fighting.
Sudan itself is going through chronic inflation, fuel shortages and other severe economic problems. Stability at its borders is of utmost importance. Well, the war in Ethiopia has brought to the fore another unresolved issue here. Where I stand is the Fashaga farmland, thousands and thousands of hectares of millet and sesame fields. And this land is actually disputed between Ethiopia and Sudan. Al-Fashaga Triangle, where most of the refugees are staying, covers an area of about 250 square kilometers, and it has about 600,000 acres of fertile land. Sudan says it's an integral part of its territory because it lies west of the line drawn by colonial Britain. But Ethiopia maintains an army presence here, and Ethiopian farmers exploit huge parts of the land. A joint committee has been trying for years with little success to finalize a border demarcation. Pointing to it across the adjacent Atbara River, this Sudanese farmer is unequivocal.
Our borders are well defined and we're not ready for compromise. Our government has allowed these Ethiopians to settle on our land, but we object to that and we will fight them to the last man until we restore it fully. That's the pact we made with our ancestors. We haven't crossed into Ethiopian territory. Why do they want to take ours?
During the first few days of the fighting in Tigray, some Ethiopian army units abandoned their bases within Fashaga, and the void was filled by the Sudanese army. Now, its commanders tell us they're not intending to cede those positions to the Ethiopian army if it tries to return. Mohammed Val, Al Jazeera, Fashaga Triangle, Sudanese-Ethiopian border.
Children of the Rasta man. moving right out of Babylon, and we're grooving to our Father's land. Yeah, how good and how pleasant it would be before God and man to see the unification of all Rasta man. Yeah, as it's been said already, let it be done. I tell you who we are under the sun. We are the children of the Rasta man. We are the children of the higher man. So Africa unite, Africa unite, yeah. Unite for the benefit of your people. Unite for it's later than they think. Unite for the benefit of your children. Unite for it's later than they think. Africa, await its creators. Africa, awaiting its creators. Africa, you're my forefathers on a stone. Unite for the Africans unite.
Africa Unite, Bob Marley from the album Survival. Modern day scramble for Africa.
Today we'll talk about Africa, once seen by Europe as the antithesis of civilization, the heart of darkness, in the words of a certain Joseph Conrad. Centuries later, Africa remains ignored. It makes news for its conflicts, poverty, and exoticism. For the longest time, the world saw it as a lost cause. Then one country saw opportunity, and thus began a new race for Africa, not very different from the scramble of the 19th century when colonial Britain and France wanted raw materials, slaves, and geopolitical influence. Now, in the 21st century, global powers are in more or less the same race. China, the United States, India, the European Union, Japan, Israel, Canada, all of these countries are in the race for Africa. And one country is emerging as the clear winner. Hello and welcome to Gravitas Plus. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay, and this is Africa, a continent of 54 sovereign states, 17% of the world's population, 9.6% of the global oil output, 90% of the world's platinum supply, 90% of the world's cobalt supply, half of the world's gold supply, 2/3 of the world's manganese, 35% of the world's uranium, 75% of the world's coltan, and 54 votes in the United Nations General Assembly. This is what makes Africa so attractive and makes the continent a battleground for global powers. There are numerous fronts: investment and infrastructure, military power, diplomacy, soft power, trade, geopolitics. Every country has its own interest in Africa. In 2016, Israel began its scramble for the continent. Benjamin Netanyahu became the first Israeli Prime Minister to visit Africa in 50 years. What did he want? Votes in favor of Israel and against Palestine in the United Nations resolutions. Africa and Israel share similar histories, he said. Israel went on to sponsor solar, water, and agricultural technologies. In the same year, 2016, Senegal co-sponsored a UN resolution. It condemned the construction of illegal Jewish settlements in the West Bank. What did Israel do? It cancelled the Mashav drip irrigation project. And this is just one example. Here's another one. The European Union has pledged more than $54 billion in sustainable investment for Africa. What does the EU want? Access to the African market of 1.3 billion people. Brussels has negotiated free trade agreements with at least 40 African countries. But does this ensure a balanced two-way trade? It doesn't. And no country has a bigger interest in Africa than China. China is funding 1 in 5 infrastructure projects in Africa. It is building every third one. Africa has an infrastructure deficit, and China has a signed checkbook. Starting 2005, China has invested at least $2 trillion in Africa. It built 6,200 kilometers of railways, including the continent's longest railway line connecting Ethiopia and Djibouti. Beijing has also built the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa. What does China get in return? A lot. geopolitical influence to start with. Beijing is selling its culture, its currency. In Guinea-Bissau, exit signs are written in Mandarin. China has established at least 50 Confucius institutes across 33 countries. Several African countries use Chinese currency. China also gets a strategic overseas base. In 2017, China built its first overseas base at the Horn of Africa, Djibouti to be specific. Djibouti connects the Mediterranean Sea to the Indian Ocean via the Suez Canal. The base has the capacity to accommodate 10,000 troops. China also gets a market to dump its goods. China is Africa's largest trading partner. Chinese trade has increased 40-fold in the last 2 decades. At least 10,000 Chinese firms operate in Africa. This is according to a McKinsey study. Africa has resources and China has access. Did you know that a third of China's investments in Africa are in the mining sector? And finally, it gets to debt trap Africa. But here's the thing, China is not the only country investing in this continent. It's not even the biggest. The United States is Africa's largest investor. It accounts for $54 billion of FDI stock. There are 600 American companies operating in South Africa alone. And this, even after the US president called Africa this. For the longest time, Africa was nothing but a war zone for Washington. It has over 7,000 troops deployed in the continent. They are spread across some 13 African countries, including Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Central African Republic, Chad, Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya, Libya, Mali, Mauritania, Niger, South Sudan, Somalia, and Tunisia. For the US, Africa was a continent for counter-terrorism operations. What happened then? Why is the US suddenly interested in Africa? The answer is this. For the US, Africa is now a new front to take on China, and Washington is now fighting it out for power and influence. An article on the US State Department website reads, and I quote, "Africa is the continent of the future. Thus, we need to make the most of its potential. By 2050, its population will more than double to 2.2 billion people, with over 60% under the age of 25. Where is Africa's interest in all of this? In 2018, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi toured key African states just ahead of Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit. In 2018, India decided to open 18 new embassies in Africa. India has defense partnerships with Zambia, Nigeria, Ghana, Ethiopia, Botswana, Uganda, Mozambique, and Namibia. New Delhi is currently training African military. Indian company Airtel is a dominant telecom firm in Africa. New Delhi is offering 50,000 scholarships to African students. Despite everything, India is far behind China in the race for Africa. China's Belt and Road Initiative has sealed its hold on Africa. If in the 1900s Africa was colonized with force, in 2020 it is being trapped by loans. China accounts for 14% of sub-Saharan debt. In Kenya, the volume of Chinese loans is 6 times that of France, which is the country's second largest creditor. And Sri Lanka can tell you what happens when Chinese loans are not repaid. China is looking to capture Africa. It has a strong diaspora, it is spending big money, it is selling its movies, culture and currency. China extracts raw materials, it manufactures products with them and sells them back to this continent. Does this remind you of something? What did the British do in India? In the 19th century, the rivalry between Britain and France fueled Africa's colonization. In the 21st century, the trade war between the United States and China is hastening the same. Just like the 19th century, there are numerous countries in the scramble for Africa, and just like the 19th century, there is nothing in it for Africa.
Babylon be still while I blow this trumpet. Babylon be still. We are good enough to build your city, yet not good enough to be a part of your society. Still that's fine with me, yeah. We are good enough to build your school, yet not good enough to attend it. No, we can't attend your school, but we can go to your church. I wanna know what is it that you are up to. I'm still on the search. The cry of my people is upon you. Babylon, you're doing well. The blood of my people is upon you. What you gonna do? The cry of my people is upon you. Babylon, you're doing well. The blood of my people is upon you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? We do all the hard work, but it's you who achieve vampires, vampires. The cry of my people is upon you. Babylon, your doom will. The blood of my people is upon you. What you gonna do? The cry of my people is upon you. Babylon, your doom will. The blood of my people is upon you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? We are good enough to build your city, yet not good enough to be a part of your society. Still, that's fine with me, yeah. We are good enough to build your school, yet not good enough to attend it. No, we can't attend your school, but we can go to your church. I wanna know, what is it that you are up to? I am still on a search. The cry of my people is upon you. Babylon, your doom will. The blood of my people is upon you. What you gonna do? The cry of my people is upon you. Babylon, your doom. The blood of my people is upon you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Oh, I'm a crying. Lord, I'm crying. Oh, the cry of my people.
Cry of My People, Garnet Silk, from the album Silky Mood. The truth about Christmas.
This message is for all who claim to be followers of Christ. You will learn the truth about Christmas and what the Bible says about it in clear to understand terms and visual detail for your learning and spiritual growth. Nowhere in the Bible does Yah command his people to follow a holiday called Christmas. Nowhere in the Bible does Yah give us the day or the month his son was born. Nowhere in the Bible is it written that December 25th is the birthday of the Lord. Nowhere in the Bible does it say the Lord was a white man with long hair and blue eyes like this image, which is in the homes of millions of people who believe in this false images. Nowhere in the Bible does the Most High command his people to decorate their homes with lights, Christmas trees, or any such thing. You'll find no scripture in the Bible of Yah teaching his people to pray to Santa Claus for gifts. If you're a follower of Christ, you better listen, and you better listen well. Christmas is a pagan satanic holiday. You, as a follower of Christ, should not partake or celebrate such days at all. You must repent at once and remove anything from your home that has anything to do with Christmas. So what does the Bible has to say about Christmas? Jeremiah 10:2-5, Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain, for one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman, with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold, they fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. Many of you so-called followers of Christ have Christmas trees in your home. You deck them with silver and gold, and fashion them with lights and place a star on top. Some of you even decorate the entire exterior of your home to compete with neighbors, in terms of showing off. The Most High Yah warned his people to learn not the way of the heathen, but many of you so-called Christians are a rebellious people who celebrate pagan holidays and the customs and traditions of men. Many of you are shopping and spending money you don't have to buy gifts for people who don't even like you. Most of you go in debt every year just to please your children and people. How could you so-called Christians be followers of Christ, yet you celebrate Christmas and teach your children to believe in Santa Claus, while doing all the things Yah warned you not to do? Santa Claus is an idol god for children. He is none other than Satan himself disguised as a kind old man who desire to do good things for them. Christmas has nothing to do with the Lord. So why do you so-called Christians keep making excuses to keep your traditional pagan holidays? Most of you have no clue what you're doing. You follow all these worldly pagan holidays without ever doing the research of its origin. Ask yourself this question: why does Santa come through the fire of the chimney to enter your home? Entering your home through the fire is symbolic of coming through hell's fire. Have you considered what the star on your Christmas tree represents? The star doesn't look harmful, but there is something behind it that you must understand. I will now show you with a visual illustration. Next time you look at the star on your tree, please understand that you and your family are actually worshipping Baphomet. If you have no idea who Baphomet is, then I believe it's time you do your own research. The majority of everyone in Hollywood worship Baphomet as their god of fortune and fame. Have you ever heard of the Walk of Fame? Take a look at the ground and you will see the Baphomet star, which is his head with the names of many celebrities who sold their soul to the devil. Baphomet is the god of Freemasons. The star on your Christmas tree is actually Baphomet. So whether you believe it or not, you and your family are worshippers of Baphomet, tree gods and pagan traditions. December the 25th is not the birthday of the Lord. December the 25th was the birthday of Nimrod. This is the real origin of the Christmas tree and the one in whom you're truly worshipping on that day. The real origin of Christmas goes back to ancient Babylon. Nimrod married his own mother, whose name was Semiramis. After Nimrod's death, his so-called mother-wife propagated the evil doctrine of the survival of Nimrod as a spirit being. She claimed a full-grown evergreen tree sprang overnight from a dead tree stump, which symbolized the springing forth unto new life of the dead Nimrod. On each anniversary of his birth, she claimed, Nimrod would visit the evergreen tree and leave gifts upon it. Paganism celebrated this famous birthday over most of the known world for centuries before the birth of Christ. Christmas time is when we feel pressured to buy merchandise for others. Merchants make the most money at this time. The scripture says merchants are thieves and they love to oppress people. Christmas time has the highest suicide rate of the year. More people go into debt during Christmas than any other time of the year. December the 25th is the birthday of nearly every pagan god ever invented. The birth of the sun god, Mertha, was on December the 25th. In Egypt, the sun god, Osiris, was born December the 25th. In the Syrian religion, the sun god, Adonis, was born December the 25th. In the Mithraite religions, they celebrated the birthday of the invincible sun on December the 25th. In Rome, they celebrated the birthday of the unconquerable sun on December the 25th. Also, Nimrod's birthday was on December the 25th. This is why a star, or sun, was placed on top of their Christmas trees. Does this sound familiar? Sure, people might say this represents the star that appeared in the sky after Jesus was born, but where does the scripture approve of such things? Some people place an angel on top of their trees and claim this is okay. Well, let's see what the scriptures say about angels. 2 Corinthians 11:14. For Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. The scripture confirms that Satan is an angel of light. Placing an angel on top of the tree is synonymous with placing a star on top of the tree, because both images represent light, or the sun. But some might claim that their angel on their tree is a heavenly angel. Okay, please look at God's second commandment, Exodus 20:4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above. Angels are in heaven above, and God forbids having images of anything that's in heaven above for the purpose of worship. So, no matter how you look at it, God does not approve of these pagan practices.
Them fi done. Oh, 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 oh. Too long now. Too long now. Oh, how I wish. Oh, how I wish. Babylon would done, done, done. Babylon
I wish, oh, how I wish Babylon would done, done, done. Babylon would done, done, done. Done with illiteracy, done with the poverty, done with conspiracy, also the slavery, done with corruption, done with confusion, done with pollution, also politicians. Oh, how I wish, oh, how I wish Babylon would done, done, done. Babylon would done, done, done. Oh, how I wish, oh, how I wish Babylon would done, done, done. Babylon would done, done, done. Done with containment, brutalization, the killing of black Africans, invasion of countries, done with modification, the food is not natural, done with false preachers, also false leaders. Oh, how I wish, oh, how I wish Babylon would done, done, done. Babylon would done, done, done. Oh, how I wish, oh, how I wish Babylon would done, done, done. Babylon would done, done, done. Oh, 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 oh. Eating is putrid and it's deep rooted, marinated in a them blood. Look how long them just can't do. Why them no hurry up and do? Them fi hurry up and do. Why them no hurry up and do? Them fi hurry up and oh, how I wish, oh, how I wish Babylon would done, done, done. Babylon would done, done, done. Oh, how I wish, oh, how I wish Babylon would done, done, done. Babylon would done, done, done. Why them no hurry up and do? Hurry up and do. Why them no hurry up and do? Oh, how I wish, oh, how I wish that Babylon would done.
Babylon would done, Vivian Jones. Greetings, Sister Merlin and Sister Monica. One love. Happy Earth Strong Adebayo Ogolesi.
Today, we are featuring yet another distinguished Nigerian, Adebayo Ogunlesi, known as the man who bought the airports. Adebayo Ogunlesi, the owner of Gatwick Airport, London City Airport, Edinburgh Airport, all in the United Kingdom. This outstanding first-class airport's owner is a Nigerian-born lawyer. Adebayo Ogunlesi is a highly successful investment banker and private equity tycoon. He is the founder, chairman, and managing partner of Global Infrastructure Partners, GIP, a New York-based private equity firm with over $35 billion in assets under investment. He is also the lead director at Goldman Sachs, where he is the chair of governance committee
meetings, as well as the governance committee meetings. So I consult with Lloyd, I consult with management, but at the end of the day, I'm the one who decides what goes on the board agenda. And I think that's a very important element of ensuring that we have sort of strong leadership on the board to work effectively with Lloyd as chair of the board.
Bayo, for short, is brilliant, super rich, sound, and highly refreshing whenever he discusses the implementation of his projects. And his business acumen is world-class.
It is about performance. We are at the end of the day, all about long-term performance, whether it's financial performance, reputational performance. And so when you step back and you say, well, what is the role?
In 2010, Adebayo Ogunlesi, through his company, made international headlines when he led the bid for the acquisition of London's Gatwick Airport from the British Airports Authority in a recorded £1.51 billion deal. The acquisition instantly propelled Ogunlesi into the global spotlight and earned him a place in history as the man who acquired London's second-largest international airport. British Airport Authority, BAA, failed to halt the recession and the dwindling passenger numbers. In 2009, the airport reportedly recorded a pre-tax loss of over £780 million. When Adebayo, investment mogul, acquired the airport, he promised to make Gatwick a truly first-class international airport and substantially improve patronage and the customer experience. And he did it.
What does it mean for us, the customers? What benefits will we get?
Obviously, what we hope to do is to work with the airlines to make sure that we, over a period of time, significantly improve the travel experience at Gatwick.
He turned Gatwick Airport to be the most beautiful, most elegant, most inviting, and one of the most profitable international airports around the world. If you are around London or flying to London, we suggest that you fly through Gatwick Airport and experience one of the most beautiful international airports in the world. You will love the experience. The purchase of Gatwick Airport may have grabbed all the headlines, but Adebayo's company, GIP, has some other noteworthy assets in its portfolio. To kickstart his chains of investments, especially in the aviation industry, Mr. Adebayo's GIP bought London City Airport for an estimated £750 million in 2006. Adebayo Ogunlesi spearheaded a series of operational improvements aimed at boosting capacity and improving the operating offering and service quality. According to information available on GIP's corporate website, London City Airport's passenger numbers grew by 22% in its first full year of ownership. Adebayo recently sold the airport for a whopping £2 billion to Canadian pension funds. In 2012, Adebayo's company, Global Infrastructure, also added Edinburgh Airport, England, to its portfolio. The former operator, British Airport Authority, BAA, sold the airport to Adebayo Ogunlesi. Adebayo also have substantial stake in Biffa Limited, a UK-based waste management company. Adebayo's eye on Africa. Adebayo Ogunlesi has helped champion the African economic renaissance. In 2009, he was appointed non-executive chairman of the Africa Finance Corporation, AFC, a financial institution set up to revamp Africa's critical infrastructure and invest in key sectors of the continent's economy. In Nigeria, Ogunlesi was spearheading the corporation's attempt to address the country's epileptic power supply. In January 2011, it hosted a power sector roundtable to examine the key issues, identify the constraints, and proffer practical solutions to the challenges facing independent power plants, IPPs, in the country.
But, you know, for me, rather than sort of look at blame the Chinese, I sort of think the responsibility has to lie in the hands of the governments and the people of the continent, okay? If Nigeria works out a deal for the Chinese to spend $40 billion on railroads, I think that's great. Now, it's up to Nigeria to actually make sure that that happens and to make sure that the infrastructure they build serves their needs. So I have no problems with you know, China, and quite frankly, the US seems to have no problems with China as a source of capital, so why not should Nigeria or Ghana or anybody else have a problem with it?
Adebayo's passion for his home country has seen him advising successive governments on fiscal policies, strategic management, and economic development. Who is this incredible Nigerian-born lawyer and investment banker? Adebayo Ogunlesi, called Bayo by family and friends, was born in Nigeria in 1953. The son of the first Nigerian-born professor of medicine to earn tenure at a medical school in his own country. His father, Emeritus Professor Theophilus Ogunlesi, was the first Nigerian-born professor of medicine and tutored at the country's premier university, University of Ibadan. His father was one of the pioneer doctors at the University Teaching Hospital, UCH, Ibadan. After attending the prestigious King's College, Lagos, Bayo went ahead to study philosophy, politics, and economics at Oxford, where he graduated at the top of his class. Breaking barriers. Adebayo was accepted by Harvard Law School as one of 3 foreign students in his class. Although the school did not usually admit students who had been born and educated outside the United States at the time. Adebayo, a Nigerian, was admitted. Adebayo broke the barrier. Adebayo later earned law and business degrees from Harvard. At Harvard, he was an outstanding student. While at Harvard, Ogunlesi and W. Randy Edie became the first 2 editors of African descent to serve together on the prestigious Harvard Law Review. After studying at Harvard, he took up a job as a clerk for the late American Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall, serving at the court for 3 years, from 1980 till 1983. This effectively made Ogunlesi the first non-American ever to clerk at the U.S. highest court. Adebayo once again made history. Adebayo, an extraordinary investment banker. Whatever Mr. Adebayo touches, or any business he gets involved with, it becomes instantly profitable. In 1983, Ogunlesi became an associate of the prestigious New York law firm Cravath, Swaine & Moore after having worked for the firm as an intern. He had been practicing law for only 9 months, however, when he was called by First Boston, an investment bank. The bankers at First Boston asked Cravath and Swaine if they could borrow Ogunlesi for 3 months to facilitate a deal. 3 months at the investment bank turned into 23 years. Adebayo's superiors at First Boston were pleased with his work and offered him a permanent position. Adebayo Ogunlesi built First Boston's project finance business into the world's largest by using money-spinning innovations. Adebayo Ogunlesi was soon promoted to managing director of the project finance group at First Boston. Adebayo Ogunlesi became the head of the new firm's global investment banking division in 2002 at the age of 48. Adebayo Ogunlesi was in charge of a division that managed $2.8 billion in assets. His appointment also earned him a seat on the bank's board of directors and its influential 15-member operating committee. Within a short period, the bank had returned to profitability and its revenue had risen by 25%. The chief executive of CSFB, John J. Mack, praised Adebayo in a press release, and I quote, "Adebayo Ogunlesi is a banker of powerful intellect, integrity, and innovation. He has a broad global perspective and keen understanding of complex financial transactions. Our clients worldwide have benefited greatly from his strategic insight." End of quote. Adebayo Ogunlesi was appointed by Trump to be a part of the Strategic and Policy Forum for his administration. Adebayo Ogunlesi is married to his beautiful wife, Dr. Amelia Quist Ogunlesi, a philanthropist and humanitarian. Adebayo Ogunlesi has received numerous awards and honors, underscoring his outstanding industry and vast knowledge of global investments.
May your dreams be your only boundaries. Bayo, whether it's with myself or many others around him, has had a long tradition of opening doors, breaking down barriers, and making it easier for people to realize their aspirations. He's an incredible philanthropist, a respected leader, and a lifelong friend. So without further ado, I would like to introduce America Needs You's 2014 honoree, Bayo Ogunlesi.
Adebayo Ogunlesi, a proud African and an amazing Nigerian who has put Nigeria, his home country, on the map of the world. Adebayo Ogunlesi was honored during 2017 Alumni Achievement Awards, Harvard Business School.
Bayo Ogunlesi came to HBS to overcome his aversion to numbers. At King's College in his native Nigeria, upon being admitted to Harvard Law School, he decided to embrace what he had been avoiding. He applied to HBS, was accepted, and thrived as a student in the joint degree program. Initially, Bayo was intent on becoming a lawyer. He clerked for U.S. Supreme Court Associate Justice Thurgood Marshall, a job he completely loved. Throughout his life, Bayo has pushed himself to reach beyond his comfort zone. In 2006, eager to try something new, he and several partners launched their own firm, Global Infrastructure Partners, which today manages over $40 billion for its investors. Their expertise at running large projects, including London City and Gatwick airports and the Port of Melbourne, for example, has led to remarkable success. Bayo's advice for others is this: have courage.
Adebayo O. Ogunlesi, JD MBA 1979, Chairman and Managing Partner, Global Infrastructure Partners. Oxford optimist, remarkable risk taker, you balance hope with realism, merging brilliance and hard work to achieve results and inspire others. Native son of Nigeria, the impact of your influence is felt on a global scale. Bayo, today we honor you and celebrate the many, many ways in which you make the world a better place.
We at New Africa Broadcasting Network, NABN TV, are very proud of your achievements. Thank you for making Africans, especially Nigerians, proud. Please keep up the good work.
Great Man, Burning Spear, from his album Make We Do It.
Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights. Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights. Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights. Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights. Recall them. Recall them. Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights. Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights. Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights. Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights. Recall Paul Bogle, recall Marcus Garvey, recall Nelson Mandela. Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights. Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights. Recall them. Recall them. Recall Malcolm X. Recall Martin Luther King. Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights. Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights. Recall them. Recall them. These great men were fighting. They were fighting for our rights. These great men were fighting. they were fighting for our rights. Let's recall some great men. Let's recall some great men. Let's recall some great men. Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights. Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights. Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights. Let's recall some great men who've been fighting for our rights. Recall Paul Bogle. Recall Marcus Garvey. Recall Nelson Mandela. Let's recall some great men.
Ireful greetings, Uncle Vincent, Aunt and Pops, Auntie Jean, Colonel T, Jesse James, James Bond, Wester Bless, Sister Mavis, Sister Linda, Sister Natalie, Mama Shah, remembering Linton, how are Smugs and Phoenix, Robert and Jennifer, Lady Ita, Lady Asher, Sister Sweet Cherry Pie, remembering Lady Daphne, Lady Micey, Sister Joanne and her family, Sister Debbie Judah and her family, Jamaics and family, Sister Familda, Sister B, Letitia and Ryan, Blacks, how is the eye, Little Dread and my beautiful sister, IX, Rastolai, I Trust I, Ras Howell, Mikey Dread, Aldred, Sister Gadia, Dana, Negus and Tanai, Sister Patsy, Pepper Ray, Pepper Seed, Sister Natalie, Sister Darity, Queen Alpha May, Sister Zebby, Sister Levi, Stephen, Kevin, Jawara, Born Free, Princess Topaz and her family, Top Secret, Shakira, Kayana and Mummy, how are the I, Sister Zalima, Sister Joy, Sister Dawn, Sister Half Pint, Sister Carlene, Dennis, Josh, Emmanuel, Ira, Princess Tamia, how is the I, 888, Lloydie, Sister Pam, Prince Akiki, Elliot, how is the I, Ito Vital, how are the I, Sister Darity, Marlon and Princess, the I must have grown now, right? Jacol, Angela and family in Reading, how is the I, my sister? And my sister Angela, hubby, how is the I? Sister Marcia, Sister Norma, Sister Faye, Sister Sonia, Upsetter, how is the I? Sister Annie, Simeon twins, remembering Flipper, Jawara, Born Free, Mama Alice, Mama Alma, Mama Cynthia, and Mrs. Bonner, how are the I? Lady Bubbles, Sister Alma Sharifa and Ras Blakey, Patrick in Tebisan and the Intebi family, Sister D in South Tottenham, Sister Yamani and her Kingman, Tuffy Irie, Ras Rubanier, PRB and Sister Amber Leah, Sister Amber and Meshach and family, Sister Sharon, Man in the Hills and Fire Priest, Jimmy, Sister Heineken, 90, remembering Bigfoot, Cosmic, Donovan and family, how's the eye Higgy, Pussart, Pete Campbell, Penguin, Father Fats, how's the eye, Father Ted and Shawnee Ranks, Tweety, good afternoon, darling, Nash, good afternoon, and Princess Summer Rain, Mama and Papa, Carlina and Mummy, how are the eye, Lloydie, Paul, Ras Lowy, how's the eye, Ras Cliffy, Ras Tony, Ras Peter, Ras Philip, Ireful afternoon, Barry Dread, Ireful afternoon, Sister Abiola, Sabu, Omari, Kashif, Culture, Nagomi, Kim, Jackie, Culture, how are the I? Principal Danite, how is the I? Uriah and Jesse, how's Danny and family? Sister Kandaki, Ras Hopper, Ras Chubby, Chancellor D, African Simba, Poser, Sion and family, how are the I? And the Fat Man crew. More love and more strength to the I family. Welcome to a new strong guidance and protection to the I. One love. Good to have the I ears. Remembering Fitzroy Marshall, born on the 17th of December 1941 in St. Anne's Parish, Jamaica. Vocalist who was part of the duo Larry and Alvin and Larry and Enid. He transcended on the 24th of August 2017, age 75 in Miami, Florida. I salute the great Larry Marshall.
Those youth is we raise them up, you know. Burning spear. Ori Sandy. You know about it?
Yeah.
Burning Spear?
Yes, sure.
They get interview, you know, like Dennis Brown. We do a lot of work with Dennis Brown in his coming. But Dennis Brown was a little genius, you know. He good, you know. So when I first heard him on a stage show, carried, and I said I want to see this little youth here, you know, because it's good. And then he come and join us at Studio One, you know, and we raise him up from there. We alternate this. We take him day by day and bring him up, strangling it, you know. Well, you see, with the areas, changes and things like that, I really shape him up, man. Burning Spear is when you would like to get the music business, we do a show at the Civil Theatre in St. Anne's Bay, you know. And then we went by the sea beach, where we used to locate, and it's there we find him. And then we smoke about smoke and reason, and he said to me, I would like to come in the business, I would like to get in the business. And I said, yes. And he said, yeah. I said, sing something with me here. And he sing, and he said to him, said, come check me out Studio One. But Jack Ruby now is the man who really bring them out. Hearing about Jack Ruby?
Yeah.
Well, it's Jack Ruby who really bring, because Jack Ruby used to come at the studio and buy dub, you know, he said, and we sell Jack Ruby.
Jack used to have a disco.
Yeah, big disco.
It's the biggest sound in disco.
It's one of, after Cox and them kind of get big now in the business and kind of keeping it. Jack Ruby them is the man them who get up strong, like, you know. And the most of them tune, when we create them in the studio, he come and he get most of them on dub, you know. We used to roll Jamaica, man, but you know, tune underpaid, and when I go, this man don't want to give me my rights. When the royalty come up and he's supposed to pay me, he say the money too much. Don't want to pay me. So that's why I leave. That's why I leave Studio One. And this man said I shouldn't leave him place, so why won't he not pay me? See, I can't fight him. The only fight I could fight him is take up the pool. And I don't want to get that. I love my children them more than the world. I have 5 children, you know. 2 sons and 3 daughters. And I love them more than anything else. You know? I don't want to hear them cry. So that's why I want to live with them. You know? From my real family, man. I don't know what type of person he is. You understand? They don't have sound system in the existence again. You know what I mean? So you wouldn't find them copy a tune, but certain man them have those tunes and they won't let them go at all. They have them. You know? That if it come to reality, that if you bet some money, they could come out and win it. You know? Some lyrics are bad. You know, sing it with Coxon creation, because you see Coxon Studio One, Coxon is a great guy, musical, you know, I'm telling you, him is a, you call him a veteran in music business. I give him that. You know him, he's a music, a man, he buy a record and him take out this, him say, I want certain part to blow in this. Otherwise, I would really denounce him, but you call those people music robber, you know? He's a robber. He's not a creative person, but he's a collector of music. He's a collector. You understand?
Yeah.
Those collectors now, when they heard certain things, they go and buy or take it and speculate on it. You know?
I see.
Yeah, that's how you see many men come and they couldn't claim this music from him, because he several other music he take and make one music. He instruct how he want the things to done, you know? It's in that. You do something and it's so very good, but he don't like it, he don't want it. He pull it up, he tell you, he can go around some corner, if it want to spoil, it spoil. You know? But you know how to be an effective person. And him tell people say me's in bright, you see in jail. Because me's the only man go through Suda one when put on the machine and say, Larry, do it, record, man. You know.
Robert Livingstone Thompson, born on the 14th of December 1943 in Kingston, Jamaica. His song Susan Beware of the Devil reached number 14 in the UK charts and number 78 in the Australian charts. Known to I as Dandy Livingstone, happy 77th Earth Strong to the Dandy Livingstone. One love.
Dandy, how was that tonight?
Each show gets better. We did Wakefield, we did Blackpool, and tonight here. And we got to improve, don't it? Right? Tonight is great, you know. Lovely atmosphere. Right?
Fantastic.
Yeah, you saw it for yourself, right?
So I was saying to you earlier about Susan Beware of the Devil, like how I love that song. But originally, you were saying?
Yeah, I recorded that song 3 times, believe it or not. Twice in England, once in Jamaica, in 1972. And the Jamaican version is what you know. Yeah.
But originally you were saying it was a B-side,
It was a B-side for, I can't remember the title of the A-side, right? I don't want to remember. Anyway, there was a DJ called Emperor Roscoe. He was on whichever station he was on. And in the clubs, right? He started playing the B-side.
Yeah.
And, you know, he did around clubs, right? So the kids were reacting like tremendously to Susan.
Yeah.
So he called the recording company, which was Trojan Records, and said, hey, you guys have a hit record. And they say, what record? What song? And he told them. And eventually, they made it an A-side. And
smart man.
yeah, right. And 3 weeks after that, That was on Top of the Pops. You know about Top of the Pops, don't you?
Of course, yeah.
From way back, yeah. That was the TV show.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Promotion.
The best show to be on. Of course, with Message to You, Rudy, originally your hit, big hit, and then of course the specials did it. Staple, and of course the special.
He was with the special originally when they recorded, and never was there.
But how great is it? All these years after that, people still sing along to it.
Yeah.
You could never have dreamed of it, could you? Really? I mean,
Rudy is a cult. Becomes a cult song, eh? Yeah. It's what do you call it? A classic.
Yeah, definitely.
That everybody seems to.
It's an anthem, isn't it?
It's an anthem, right? Yeah. Simple song, but as you know, simplicity goes a long way at times. Right. And I really, give thanks to the special to record it and it become,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So you're going to be performing at Scarmouth?
Sunday, yeah.
You're looking forward to that one?
I did it last year and it was great. And I'm looking forward to it on Sunday.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for joining us on the show.
You're welcome. Big up.
You can take a boy from the country, but you can't take the country from him. You can lead the cow to the water, but you can't force it to drink. Yeah. Think about that. Think about the world. Some do, some don't. Think about that. Think about the world. Some will, some won't. If the rain should refuse to fall, then the flowers they just wouldn't grow. If the sun, moon, and stars didn't shine, darkness would be hanging high. Think about that. Think about the world. Some do, some don't. Think about that. Think about the world. Some will, some won't. Hate and greed is all I see. Still waters becoming raging seas. Hungry mouths for want of feed. The storm of life attests to tease. Some people making plans for wars. Others protesting for peace. Man is heading nearer to his fall. Soon there won't be another dawn. Yeah. Think about that. Think about the world. Some do, some don't. Think about that. Think about the world. Some will, some won't. Think about that. Think about the world. Some do.
Give thanks for listening, family, guidance and protection to the eye. Twinkle Star up next, followed by Mandingo, news, views and lots of beautiful music. One love. Ireful greetings, Twinkle Stars, and welcome to the Twinkle Star Iowa. In a new strong with new knowledge, hope that I had a good day. Life is so much better when the eye focus on positive things and remember happiness comes from within. Holidays are here next strong so that I can take time out and have fun with the I family. Talk, laugh and listen. And remember the I deep breathing to give the I strength. treat each other with love and respect along life's journey, so when the I are older, that I can live in peace and harmony. Let's rock knowledge. Welcome forward, Twinkle Stars. This is slrradio.co.uk to the world. One love.
Twinkle Stars, Iowa. Every Monday between 4 and 5 on SLR. SISTA, IYATA style.
Hey, Black Child by County Color. Hey, Black Child, do you know who you are? Who you really are? Do you know you can be where you want to be if you try to be what you can be? Hey, Black Child, do you know where you're going? Where you're really going? Do you know you can learn what you want to learn if you try to learn what you can learn? Hey, Black Child, do you know you are strong? I mean really strong? Do you know you can do what you want to do if you try to do what you can do? Hey, Black Child, be what you can be, learn what you must learn, do what you can do, and tomorrow your nation will be what you want it to be.
I am Branton Sai. This is the Twinkle Star, Iowa.
We can do it. We shall do it.
1 times table. 1 times 1 equals 1. 2 times 1 equals 2. 3 times 1 equals 3. 4 times 1 equals 4. 5 times 1 equals 5. 6 times 1 equals 6. 7 times 1 equals 7. 8 times 1 equals 8. 9 times 1 equals 9. 10 times 1 equals 10. 11 times 1 equals 11. 12 times 1 equals 12. 2 times table. 2 times 1 equals 2. 2 times 2 equals 4. 3 times 2 equals 6. 4 times 2 equals 8. 5 times 2 equals 10. 6 times 2 equals 12. 7 times 2 equals 14. 8 times 2 equals 16. 9 times 2 equals 18. 10 times 2 equals 20. 11 times 2 equals 22. 12 times 2 equals 24. 3 times table. 1 times 3 equals 3. 2 times 3 equals 6. 3 times 3 equals 9. 4 times 3 equals 12. 5 times 3 equals 15. 6 times 3 equals 18. 7 times 3 equals 21. 8 times 3 equals 24. 9 times 3 equals 27. 10 times 3 equals 30. 11 times 3 equals 33. 12 times 3 equals 36. 4 times table. 1 times 4 equals 4. 2 times 4 equals 8. 3 times 4 equals 12. 4 times 4 equals 16. 5 times 4 equals 20. 6 times 4 equals 24. 7 times 4 equals 28. 8 times 4 equals 32. 9 times 4 equals 36. 10 times 4 equals 40. 11 times 4 equals 44. 12 times 4 equals 48. 5 times table. 1 times 5 equals 5. 2 times 5 equals 10. 3 times 5 equals 15. 4 times 5 equals 20. 5 times 5 equals 25. 6 times 5 equals 30. 7 times 5 equals 35. 8 times 5 equals 40. 9 times 5 equals 45. 10 times 5 equals 50. 11 times 5 equals 55. 12 times 5 equals 60. 6 times table. 1 times 6 equals 6. 2 times 6 equals 12. 3 times 6 equals 18. 4 times 6 equals 24. 5 times 6 equals 30. 6 times 6 equals 36. 7 times 6 equals 42. 8 times 6 equals 48. 9 times 6 equals 54. 10 times 6 equals 60. 11 times 6 equals 66. 12 times 6 equals 72.
7 times tables. 1 times 7 equals 7. 2 times 7 equals 14. 3 times 7 equals 21. 4 times 7 equals 28. 5 times 7 equals 35. 6 times 7 equals 42. 7 times 7 equals 49. 8 times 7 equals 56. 9 times 7 equals 63. 10 times 7 equals 70. 11 times 7 equals 77. 12 times 7 equals 84. 8 times tables. 1 times 8 equals 8. 2 times 8 equals 16. 3 times 8 equals 24. 4 times 8 equals 32. 5 times 8 equals 40. 6 times 8 equals 48. 7 times 8 equals 56. 8 times 8 equals 64. 9 times 8 equals 72. 10 times 8 equals 80. 11 times 8 equals 88. 12 times 8 equals 96. 9 times tables. 1 times 9 equals 9. 2 times 9 equals 18. 3 times 9 equals 27. 4 times 9 equals 36. 5 times 9 equals 45. 6 times 9 equals 54. 7 times 9 equals 63. 8 times 9 equals 72. 9 times 9 equals 81. 10 times 9 equals 90. 11 times 9 equals 99. 12 times 9 equals 108. 10 times tables. 1 times 10 equals 10. 2 times 10 equals 20. 3 times 10 equals 30. 4 times 10 equals 40. 5 times 10 equals 50. 6 times 10 equals 60. 7 times 10 equals 70. 8 times 10 equals 80. 9 times 10 equals 90. 10 times 10 equals 100. 11 times 10 equals 110. 12 times 10 equals 120. 11 times tables. 1 times 11 equals 11. 2 times 11 equals 22. 3 times 11 equals 33. 4 times 11 equals 44. 5 times 11 equals 55. 6 times 11 equals 66. 7 times 11 equals 77. 8 times 11 equals 88. 9 times 11 equals 99. 10 times 11 equals 110. 11 times 11 equals 121. 12 times 11 equals 132. 12 times tables. 1 times 12 equals 12. 2 times 12 equals 24. 3 times 12 equals 36. 4 times 12 equals 48. 5 times 12 equals 60. 6 times 12 equals 72. 7 times 12 equals 84. 8 times 12 equals 96. 9 times 12 equals 108. 10 times 12 equals 120. 11 times 12 equals 132. 12 times 12 equals 144.
This is now the Children's Hour on SLR, IYATA style.
You ready, Sam?
Yeah.
We tell everybody what they can be when they grow up. They can be anything. You ready?
Yes.
Let's go.
You can be an A. You can be an architect. Get a building to kiss the sky. You can be a D. You can be a biochemist. Make medicine save lives. You can be a C. Computer or software developer. Or programs that sound and files. You can be a D. You can be a dentist. Cause everybody loves to smile. You can be an E. You can be an engineer. Solve problems of all kinds. Chemical, mechanical, electrical. Use the power of your mind. You can be an S. You can be a firefighter. Fight fires in red trucks. You can be a G. Gastroenterologist. Do problems in the gut. You can be an H. Hospital administrator. Hospitals need leaders. You can be an I. Intelligence officer. The FBI kind of people. You can be a J. You can be a judge. Help people who seek justice. You can be a K. Kindergarten teacher. Those kids are young and restless. You can be an L. You can be a lawyer. Cause people need to know their rights. You can be an M. Mobile app developer. Like the people that made Fortnite. You can be an N. You can be a nurse. Medical kiss for the masses. You can be an O. Optometrist. For people that need eyeglasses. You can be a P. Paramedic. For medical emergencies. You can be a Q. Quantum physicist. On particles and energy. You can be an R. Researcher. Find cures for disease. You can be an S. Stockbroker. You get to work with money. You can be a T. Truck mechanic. Trucks are critical transportation. You can be a U. University president. More the future of your nation. You can be a V. Video game designer. Or Xbox and PlayStation. You can be a W. Web developer. It's an online occupation. Now take that S. You can be your own. You can impact on the world. And with that Y, you can be your own boss. Tell me boy and girl. And with that Z, Z's you strive. You can restart if you try. Just don't be a Z. Just don't be a zombie. And let the wind pass you by.
We can do it. We will. We shall do it.
Before we begin, I thought it was important to define how I was going to use the term matrilineal. When you hear me say matrilineal, most of the time, it'll be used simply in the context of how various African societies respected women. Also, keep in mind that respect for women manifested itself in slightly different ways throughout the African continent. In ancient times, women held various roles throughout African society. Elite African women tended to hold power in at least 3 different ways. They were queens, regents, or high-ranking officials, especially in a religious sense. Some African women in the southern regions of Africa gained power or status because of the egalitarian society they came from. For example, The Luvdu people who live largely in South Africa today traditionally chose a rain queen as the political and divine ruler of a given region. She was believed to possess some spiritual energy or power, and her anger was believed to have the potential to cause a drought. She was highly venerated and respected and became the center of life in many ways for those African people. The rain queens are a clear example of how the environment can shape the role of the matrilineal philosophy, as the function of the rain queen differs from queens or regents further north. Another way in which elite African women acquired power in the ancient world was through inheritance. The Nile Valley presents numerous examples of this. For the Kushites, many of the Kandakis or queens were queen mothers or wives of the kings, and many of them co-ruled with the king with full rights and privileges at the height of the economic and social power of Merowe. The queens of Kush were able to officiate at coronation ceremonies and provide invaluable counsel. The reproduction function of women, according to some scholars, may have shaped early forms of worship in ancient Africa, and in some cases allowed African women to transcend traditional roles as mothers and wives. When the Kushites conquered Egypt and established the 25th dynasty, their version of matrilineal expression was on full display. Wives, sisters, and daughters served as priestesses of Amun, gaining power, land, and wealth, in a sense, creating their own female religious dynasties. Priestess Amenertis was among the first to establish this dynasty, if you will. The presence of women at ceremonies in the Nile Valley and their officiating roles highlights the importance and value women had in African societies. Spirituality was a very big deal, especially in ancient times, and so the agency of African women in those spaces speaks volumes. But aside from that, Nubian queens built numerous public works and even physically went to war. We know this for a fact, as the legendary Queen Amanirenas was known to have a wounded eye purportedly received from her literal participation in battle. Below the Sahara, African women commonly functioned as priests with a variety of ritual and judicial authority similar to the rain queens. They can be seen as being traditional doctors, providing ritual cleansings and protection from evil, and as mediums and diviners, playing an essential role in guiding or instructing the process of contact with the spiritual realm. Oral and historical accounts of women include some hints about the Negbesande, the powerful rites and practices associated with Mende and Gola women who preside over the secret societies known today as the Sande. It's an age-old institution that embodies solidarity and social power. The legendary Ethiopian Queen Makeda, also known as the Queen of Sheba, was typical of many queens reigning in Ethiopia who inherited power through family links. She was widely known for establishing important trade networks, commanding armies, and collecting vast wealth from the regions she ruled. Contrary to what some may believe, Egypt was a typical African civilization as it followed the African tradition of a matrilineal philosophy. Non-elite women in Egypt had many rights and privileges that are well documented. Legal documents exist during the New Kingdom that describe women and men living as equals under the law. Women could own property, enter into business transactions, and arrange marriage and divorce contracts. There are even records that show women sued for monetary relief in courts. Problems associated with these laws can be seen in the fact that women were almost always the defendants in monetary claims of non-payment or the wrongful sale of property. In other words, women were protected under the law, which shows at least in part just how much women were respected in that society. A third way that women gained power in Africa was through matrilineal descent. Women in matrilineal societies could be kingmakers, if you will. The Akan people have a very long tradition of the matrilineal system. Queen mothers, described as an Ohema, was linked with divinity due to her ability to bring forth new life. As Ohema, she ruled over informal groups of family clans that eventually became city-states. Her symbol, a knotted cloth tied around a long staff, has also been noted among rulers and goddesses associated with the Tuaregs and even the ancient Garamantes. Well, I'm all out, guys.
We can do it. We shall do it.
Ronald S. Demon. Ronald Demon designed an all-purpose shoe that automatically adapts to the wearer's needs, adjusting the cushion to suit the pace of activity in which he or she is engaged. As a 16-year-old, he first came up with the idea for an adjustable shoe sole while playing basketball in Miami, Florida. Inventor and CEO of Xtra Sense Technologies patented a sports shoe geared towards athletes and nicknamed it the Smart Shoe. Benjamin Bradley. Having worked at the Annapolis Naval Academy, Bradley performed scientific experiments and was credited for building a steam engine at the age of 16. It was made entirely from scrap metal and used on warships to help travel faster at sea. Though he wasn't able to patent his work, he sold his idea in exchange for his freedom. Norbert Rillieux. This American engineer revolutionized the sugar industry with the multiple effect evaporator, a device that produced high-quality sugar and reduced production costs by using steam efficiently to evaporate water and prevent sugar from burning or being discolored. After patenting his creation in 1843, sugar manufacturers from Cuba to Egypt requested Rillieux's machine. It's still used today to make glue, soap, milk, and other products. Andrew Jackson Beard. Before the Jenny Coupler, railroad cars were manually joined together. As one of the many railroad workers who lost a limb, his leg, in a coupling accident, Beard saved many lives with his invention, which automatically locked two car bumps together. He patented the device in 1897, the same year Congress created a Federal Safety Appliance Act that made it illegal to operate railroad cars without automatic couplers. Meredith Gourdine. Gourdine has been praised as a pioneer researcher and for creating electrogas dynamics, the generation of electrical energy from the conversion of the kinetic energy contained in a high-pressure, ionized moving combustion gas. His most popular creation, the Incinerate system, was used to banish smoke from burning buildings and fog from airport runways. Adding to his legacy, he would also create the Focus Flow heatsink, a device that cooled down computer chips.
We can do it. We shall do it.
Genes, DNA, and chromosomes are what make you who you are. They are the set of instructions that are given to you by your father and mother. These instructions are in your cells, and all living organisms are composed of cells. There are many different types, like nerve cells and hair cells and skin cells. They all have different shapes and forms, but every cell has the same basic parts. The cell has an outer border called the membrane, which contains a liquid material called cytoplasm. In the cytoplasm is the nucleus, and inside the nucleus are chromosomes. In humans, each cell normally contains 23 pairs of chromosomes, for a total of 46. 22 of these pairs, called autosomes, look the same in both males and females. The 23rd pair, the sex chromosomes, differ between males and females. Females have 2 copies of the X chromosome, while males have one X and one Y chromosome. The chromosomes are really long strings of DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA is shaped like a ladder that's been twisted. This shape is called a double helix. The steps of the ladder are made of 4 bases. Adenine is A, thymine is T, guanine is G, and cytosine is C. A stretch of the DNA is called a gene. Your body reads the genes and the letters like a recipe and builds protein. The order of the bases in the DNA, along with the length and sequence of the gene, determines the size and shape of the protein it builds. The size and shape of the protein determine the function it will have in your body. Proteins make up cells, cells make up tissue, and tissue makes up organs, like your eyes and your skin. So the genes determine what you are, a cow, an apple, or a human, and what you will look like, the color of your hair, your skin, your eyes, and so on.
This is now the Children's Hour on SLR, IYATA style.
Nestled in the tissues of your neck is a small, unassuming organ that wields enormous power over your body. It's called the thyroid. Like the operations manager in a company, its role is to make sure that the cells in your body are working properly. It does that by using hormones to deliver messages to every single one of them. This high-ranking organ is made up of lobules that each contain smaller cells called follicles, which store the hormones the thyroid sends out into your blood. Two of the most important hormones it produces are thyroxine and triiodothyronine, or T3 and T4. As messengers, the hormone's job is to instruct every cell in the body when to consume oxygen and nutrients. That maintains the body's metabolism, the series of reactions our cells perform to provide us with energy. This hormonal notification from the thyroid gets the heart pumping more efficiently and makes our cells break down nutrients faster. When you need more energy, the thyroid helps by sending out hormones to increase metabolism. Ultimately, the thyroid allows our cells to use energy, grow, and reproduce. The thyroid is controlled by the pituitary gland, a hormonal gland deep in the brain that oversees the thyroid's tasks, making sure it knows when to send out its messengers. The pituitary's role is to sense if hormone levels in the blood are too low or too high, in which case it sends out instructions in the form of the thyroid-stimulating hormone. Even in this tightly controlled system, however, management sometimes slips up. Certain diseases, growths in the thyroid, or chemical imbalances in the body can confuse the organ and make it deaf to the pituitary's guiding commands. The first problem this causes is hyperthyroidism, which happens when the organ sends out too many hormones. That means the cells are overloaded with instructions to consume nutrients and oxygen. They become overactive as a result, meaning a person with hyperthyroidism experiences a higher metabolism, signaled by a faster heartbeat, constant hunger, and rapid weight loss. They also feel hot, sweaty, anxious, and find it difficult to sleep. The opposite problem is hypothyroidism, which happens when the thyroid sends out too few hormones, meaning the body's cells don't have as many messengers to guide them. In response, cells grow listless and metabolism slows. People with hypothyroidism see symptoms in weight gain, sluggishness, sensitivity to cold, swollen joints, and feeling low. Luckily, there are medical treatments that can help trigger the thyroid's activities again and bring the body back to a steady metabolic rate. For such a little organ, the thyroid wields an awful lot of power, but a healthy thyroid manages our cells so effectively that it can keep us running smoothly without us even noticing it's there.
SLR, we are the power. This is now the Children's Hour on SLR.
Our planet's diverse, thriving ecosystems may seem like permanent fixtures, but they're actually vulnerable to collapse. Jungles can become deserts, and reefs can become lifeless rocks, even without cataclysmic events like volcanoes and asteroids. What makes one ecosystem strong and another weak in the face of change? The answer, to a large extent, is biodiversity. Biodiversity is built out of three intertwined features: ecosystem diversity, species diversity, and genetic diversity. The more intertwining there is between these features, the denser and more resilient the weave becomes. Take the Amazon rainforest, one of the most biodiverse regions on Earth, due to its complex ecosystems, huge mix of species, and the genetic variety within those species. Here are tangled liana vines, which crawl up from the forest floor to the canopy, intertwining with treetops and growing thick wooded stems that support these towering trees. Helped along by the vines, trees provide the seeds, fruits, and leaves to herbivores such as the tapir and the agouti, which disperse their seeds throughout the forest so they can grow. Leftovers are consumed by the millions of insects that decompose and recycle nutrients to create rich soil. The rainforest is a huge system filled with many smaller systems like this, each packed with interconnected species. Every link provides stability to the next, strengthening biodiversity's weave. That weave is further reinforced by the genetic diversity within individual species, which allows them to cope with changes. Species that lack genetic diversity due to isolation or low population numbers are much more vulnerable to fluctuations caused by climate change, disease, or habitat fragmentation. Whenever a species disappears because of its weakened gene pool, a knot is untied and parts of the net disintegrate. So, What if we were to remove one species from the rainforest? Would the system fall apart? Probably not. The volume of species, their genetic diversity, and the complexity of the ecosystems form such rich biodiversity in this forest that one species gap in the weave won't cause it to unravel. The forest can stay resilient and recover from change. But that's not true in every case. In some environments, taking away just one important component can undermine the entire system. Take coral reefs, for instance. Many organisms in a reef are dependent on the coral. It provides key microhabitats, shelter, and breeding grounds for thousands of species of fish, crustaceans, and mollusks. Corals also form interdependent relationships with fungi and bacteria. The coral itself is a loom that allows the tangled net of biodiversity to be woven. That makes coral a keystone organism, one that many others depend on for their survival. So what happens when destructive fishing practices, pollution, and ocean acidification weaken coral or even kill it altogether? Exactly what you might think. The loss of this keystone species leaves its dependents at a loss too, threatening the entire fabric of the reef. Ecosystem, species, and genetic diversity together form the complex tangled weave of biodiversity that is vital for the survival of organisms on Earth. We humans are woven into this biodiversity too. When just a few strands are lost, our own well-being is threatened. Cut too many links, and we risk unraveling it all. What the future brings is unpredictable, but biodiversity can give us an insurance policy, Earth's own safety net, to safeguard our survival.
Twinkle Stars, Iowa. Every Monday between 4 and 5 on SLR. SISTA, IYATA.
This is the tale of two ancient cities and the trees that determined their destinies. In 3000 BC, Uruk was more densely populated than modern-day New York City. This crowded capital had to continually expand their irrigation system to feed its growing population. 2,500 years later, in Sri Lanka, the city of Anuradhapura had a similar problem. They were also growing constantly, and like Uruk, their city relied heavily on an elaborate irrigation system. As Uruk grew, its farmers began chopping down trees to make space for more crops. In Anuradhapura, however, trees were sacred. Their city housed an offshoot of the Bodhi tree, under which Buddha himself was said to have attained enlightenment. Religious reverence slowed farmers' axes and even led the city to plant additional trees in urban parks. Initially, Uruk's expansion worked well, but without trees to filter their water supply, Uruk's irrigation system became contaminated. Evaporating water left mineral deposits, which rendered the soil too salty for agriculture. Conversely, Anuradhapura's irrigation system was designed to work in concert with the surrounding forest. Their city eventually grew to more than twice Uruk's population, and today, Anuradhapura still cares for a tree planted over 2,000 years ago. We may think of nature as being unconnected to our urban spaces, but trees have always been an essential part of successful cities. Trees act like a natural sponge, absorbing stormwater runoff before releasing it back into the atmosphere. The webs of their roots protect against mudslides, while allowing soil to retain water and filter out toxins. Roots help prevent floods, while reducing the need for storm drains and water treatment plants. Their porous leaves purify the air by trapping carbon and other pollutants, making them essential in the fight against climate change. Humanity has been uncovering these arboreal benefits for centuries, but trees aren't just crucial to the health of a city's infrastructure. They play a vital role in the health of its citizens as well. In the 1870s, Manhattan had few trees outside the island's parks. Without trees to provide shade, buildings absorbed up to 9 times more solar radiation during deadly summer heat waves. Combined with the period's poor sanitation standards, the oppressive heat made the city a breeding ground for bacteria like cholera. In modern-day Hong Kong, tall skyscrapers and underground infrastructure make it difficult for trees to grow. This contributes to the city's dangerously poor air quality. which can cause bronchitis and diminished lung function. Trees affect our mental health as well. Research indicates that the presence of green foliage increases attention spans and decreases stress levels. It's even been shown that hospital patients with views of brick walls recover more slowly than those with views of trees. Fortunately, many cities are full of views like this, and that's no accident. As early as the 18th century, city planners began to embrace the importance of urban trees. In 1733, Colonel James Oglethorpe planned the city of Savannah, Georgia, to ensure that no neighborhood was more than a 2-minute walk from a park. After World War II, Copenhagen directed all new development along 5 arteries, each sandwiched between a park. This layout increased the city's resilience to pollution and natural disasters. And urban trees don't just benefit people. Portland's Forest Park preserves the region's natural biodiversity, making the city home to various local plants, 112 bird species, and 62 species of mammals. No city is more committed to trees than Singapore. Since 1967, Singapore's government has planted over 1.2 million trees, including those within 50-meter-tall vertical gardens called super trees. These structures sustain themselves and nearby conservatories with solar energy and collected rainwater. Trees and vegetation currently cover over 50% of Singapore's landmass, reducing the need for air conditioning and encouraging low-pollution transportation. By 2050, it's estimated that over 65% of the world will be living in cities. City planners can lay an eco-friendly foundation, but it's up to the people who live in these urban forests to make them homes for more than humans.
This is now the Children's Hour on SLR, IYATA style.
I take a sip of cool, clear water. I take a sip, another sip, a sip of cool, clear water. I drink a glass, but not too fast, a glass of cool, clear water. I drink it slow, it's best you know, to sip some cool, clear water. I drink more water every day of the week. I drink less juice, it's too sweet for my teeth. And I feel great from my head to my feet, 'cause water makes my body work better. Now when it's hot, it's really hot, I need to drink more water. 'Cause when I sweat, you can bet, I need to drink more water. Or when I'm out, running about, I need to drink more water. Won't overheat, I have a seat and sip some cool, clear water. I drink more water every day of the week. I drink less juice, it's too sweet for my teeth. And I feel great from my head to my feet, 'cause water makes my body work better. Drink more water. You know you really ought to. Drink more water. You know you really ought to. Drink more water. You know you really ought to. Drink more water.
We can do it. We shall do it.
Belly breathing. In this mindfulness practice, you will learn a deep breathing technique. Sit on the floor and cross your legs, or sit upright in your chair. Everyone take a deep breath in. Did your shoulders rise and your chest go out? This is most people's response, but it is incorrect. When we breathe in deeply, our shoulders should stay still and our stomachs should go out. This is because our diaphragm, a muscle under our lungs and above our stomachs, flattens and pushes out our stomach area, which is why we call it belly breathing. This is how singers and actors breathe to use their voice properly. Belly breathing instantly increases the amount of oxygen in our bloodstream. It calms our nervous system and releases feel-good chemicals into our bodies, so it is a key part of mindfulness. So, let's begin. Put your hands on your belly. Imagine you have a balloon in there, and when you breathe in, you're filling the balloon up with air and making your belly blow up. Breathe out and let the air out of the balloon. Your belly should go in and your hands go down. Let's repeat that. Breathe in through your nose, fill the balloon up with air. Now breathe out of your mouth, let the air out of the balloon. Let's keep going. In through your nose. Now breathe out through your mouth and flatten the balloon in your stomach. You shouldn't hear your breath go in. If you can, this means you're breathing too quickly. Breathe in and blow up the balloon, and breathe out again. Keep your back and your shoulders still. Nowhere apart from your stomach and chest should be moving. Breathe in and breathe out. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Breathe in and breathe out. One more time in and last time out. Well done. Don't worry if you found this challenging. It will take a lot of practice before deep belly breathing becomes natural and easy. You should now feel relaxed as you have increased the oxygen into your bloodstream, calmed your nervous system, and released lots of feel-good chemicals into your bodies. You can do your belly breathing at any time, in any place. Even a couple of belly breaths will calm you down, wherever you are. Try it whenever you next feel worried.
So sad.
Twinkle Stars, give thanks for listening. Do join I and I again in the Twinkle Star Iowa Next Strong for more knowledge. And remember to treat each other with love and respect on life's journey. So when the I and the I get older, no one can say that I didn't treat them well when the I were younger. So the I can be unified in strength and love. Do join Mandingo after the break. He's here with music, news and views till the hours of 7. Then in comes Buzzing Bee with tropical discussions and worldwide issues. The pastor's in at 9, followed by Bobby Culture on the SLR lawn with music till the early hours of the morning. Be of strong courage always and fear nothing. Stand strong and learn all that I can. So until next strong, Rastafari and Integwe Menin and Earth Mother guide and protect every step and every move that I make. Until such time, Twinkle Stars, one love.